Truth and Reconciliation Committee for the municipality. And I guess we can just get right into it. So number one, call the meeting to order. I'll call the meeting to order. Number two, the land acknowledgement by Mayor Lawrence.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah.
As we start our meeting, we acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Sioux First Nation within Treaty 3, and that many of the people and communities we serve are in Treaties 5 and 9, the Anishinaabe Nation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. All right. And then so far I see Joyce, Mario, hello, Eileen, and Candace and Lynn Marie. You're on the phones. Those last two.
Yep.
And hi, Michelle. Okay. Thank you for coming. Number three, the agenda. Oh, there's Lynn. Marie. Lynn Marie. Okay. Item number three on the agenda, 3A, introduction of amendments to the agenda. Anybody? No. Okay, so we'll go on to 3B, confirmation of the agenda. And who would like to, do we need a motion for that? No. Yes? Okay. All right, so who shall move?
Me, I can. It's Candace.
Candace? Okay,
Yep.
Thank you. Second. Joyce. Joyce put her hand up first. Okay, thank you, Joyce. And carried by everybody. All right. Number four, declarations of pecuniary interest. There are none. Number five, the adoption of the minutes from the July 19th, 2021 meeting. I don't have my minutes with me. Anybody want to adopt those ones? They look fine. Mayor, yes. Shall move. And seconder. Mario. Okay, Mario this time. And everybody's in agreement. Yeah. Yay. Okay. Now we're on number 6 already. Business arising from the minutes. So 6A is the update on the proposed Truth and Reconciliation Week events leading up to the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, which is September 30th. And Michelle LaRose has an update for us.
Kind of, sort of, my name was put on the agenda. It was just to bring it up for discussion as business arising from the last set of minutes, because we talked about doing different events leading up to September 30th, the National Day of Reconciliation, and also Orange Shirt Day on the same day. And Darlene had sent out an email to the rest of the committee. What was the date on that? That was August 6th, with reference to some possible events that could happen. So that's open for discussion, and then if the committee would like, the municipality can try and coordinate these different agencies. Just to add to that, at the AMO conference that the mayor and I recently attended last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, on the very last day, they had a session in the afternoon on the 18th. And it was the Woodland Cultural Center. It was a virtual tour of the Mohawk Institute Residential School. I attended that session, and it says the Mohawk Institute Residential School operated in Brantford from 1828 to 1970. It served as a boarding school for First Nations children from 6 nations, as well as other communities throughout Ontario and Quebec. It served as a key tool in the effort to assimilate First Nations children into European Christian society and sever the community of culture from parent to child. After closing in 1970, it reopened in 1972 as a Woodland Cultural Center, a non-for-profit organization that serves to preserve and promote First Nations culture and heritage. So it was a 45-minute film that they had a narrator go around and explain the different parts of the school. And they also interviewed some of the residential school survivors from this Woodland residential school. I have to say it was very moving. I actually learned more information about the lives of the children that attended residential schools, and it was very moving video that we saw. And I thought that if we could, through AMO, possibly get a copy of that and use that as part of that week of Truth and Reconciliation to have it, shown to the public somehow, that would be a really good thing to do as well, because it really it hit home with me one more time, to hear about the stories and what actually happened at residential schools, and in particular this one. So it was very, very informative video for myself, and I'm sure many others as well.
Sounds good. Where do you think we could show it, I wonder?
I don't know if I don't know if it's even available for release right now, but I'm going to follow up. I thought we'd discuss it at the meeting this evening and see if we couldn't get a copy of it. We can watch it, but only through my login. It's not available for download. So we just lost the mayor, I think. It's not available to download at this point, but I can find out from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario if we can get a copy of it to incorporate into that week and show it somehow. Maybe live stream it on our municipal website or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that could be an event, live streamed. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll await word on that, I guess. So
we're with reference to some of the things that you had pointed out in your email, Dorothy. I know staff are kind of looking to the community for some direction as to how you want to go about the events.
Okay, yeah, I listed a bunch of things, and I guess the first one would be proclamation, maybe the week before, to make it Truth and Reconciliation Week here in Sioux. And then we could also introduce ourselves somehow online, maybe the committee, or we could put ourselves into the bulletin or something, if everybody was agreeable to having their little blurb on there, sort of like what's in the booklet, a little paragraph. Okay, Michelle, yes.
Just a comment on that, Chris Pollard, our IT person, our communications person with the municipality, he's been doing the mayor's videos that go out to the community with reference to COVID and different things of that nature that he announces, and that would be a really good venue if we could get everybody in and he could record everyone and introduce the committee to the public as well.
Okay.
So we can get staff to do him to work on that if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, but can everyone hear Michelle? I'm having a really hard time.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Sorry.
Okay. How about now? No?
A little better.
Yeah.
Michelle, do you have something over your mic, a piece of paper or notes or anything like that?
No, I don't actually. I just recently switched monitors, and the monitor with the camera on it has the sound in it. So Let me see what I can do. Give me 2 seconds.
It just sounds as if you're sitting too far away from the microphone.
How do I sound now?
Much better.
Okay, is my volume on my actual computer? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Doug is still trying to get back into the meeting. He lost connection. He just texted me. Okay.
Then we had thought about other things, getting resources, because I see it as an educational week. So I'm wondering how we can do that to get people access to the 94 recommendations so that they can see them. I don't know if we need a little Facebook page or something like that. Another idea was Survivors Speak, a live event of some kind online. And we could also involve the youth somehow, either through art, poetry, or an essay contest. And different people, different organizations can sponsor prizes. For the public, maybe a blanket exercise, if that can be arranged. I don't know with the COVID stuff how that would work.
I think it should be okay because if we had a fairly big space, particularly if it was outdoors.
Yeah.
Remember one time we did it at the back of what was then the Days Inn, now Hostel 2?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so something like a big space where, you know, it can be spread out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the rec center, maybe in the gym. Again, that's fairly big. We'd need to check capacity. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like a big gymnasium somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making note of that so we can check.
Or are there, like, I'm thinking, there's a couple of fields by the schools, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the space, you know, where we do the powwow at the hospital. That's a fairly big space
outside
too.
there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So how do we go about looking for this blanket exercise?
Well, Terry Lynn and I have baskets of blankets and most of the props
Okay.
for doing it. So I can ask Terry Lynn if you know she would like to work with me, and probably also Victor. Victor was talking about doing one at the end of August.
Victor.
So I know Victor's helped us in the past.
All right.
So
Yeah. Because I think people would take part in it if it were an opportunity for them to come out and learn. That's a good like a cross-cultural type exercise.
Yeah.
So that first part of it, I'm just thinking about events or activities to learn about the past, to learn about Indian residential schools. So that would be the past. And then the present, I was looking at reclaiming language, culture. So we could have an opening of some kind with drumming, food, language events. Maybe we could ask Quiet Sheelan if they could do something, if they would be interested in doing something, because they're very big on language. Word games. You could do get somebody to organize maybe a scavenger hunt. Somebody could take that on because I noticed there were scavenger hunts. Um, I'm not sure what kind of ideas they could put on the scavenger hunt. Look for number Basic or something like that. And
Yeah.
something would be out there that says Basic. You know, what does that mean in the language? And okay, so
Renee Southwind might be a good person to, because she's been doing some of the language sessions at the hospital. I don't know if I don't suppose she's been doing that
okay.
since the COVID, but she used to do language lessons at the hospital.
Okay.
But she might be interested in doing something.
Yeah, I'll ask her. What else? The idea for reclaiming language and culture. Guest speakers, if anybody can think of any. Singers or artists. I know we have a singer in town, Nick Sherman. He's at Slifna. I wonder if he'd be interested because wasn't he in the? I can't remember that starting to talk workshop.
Yes, he was, Darlene.
Yeah.
He
So
took
I think
that.
he might be approachable for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And is Melody McIver still around?
I think she's still around. I think.
I haven't seen her
I
for a bit,
think.
but
She
she's
won't be
talking-
around, I don't think.
no.
Oh, by then,
No.
that's right. Yeah, she's going to Brandon
Yeah.
University to be a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's got a job there. Okay. And then the other idea was the film night, and that film that you talked about, Michelle, that might cover that. I've also-
Sorry, Darlene.
Yes.
Darlene, are you looking at a day thing or
It could be
events happening over a period of time?
over a period of time. These are just ideas. Like it could be
Okay.
one event a day, could be 2 events a day, depending on what kind of interest we can find out there. This is just the beginning brainstorming. So
I know I emphasize that I'm on this committee as a Sioux Lookout resident and not Slifna,
okay.
but I can ask my supervisor, my director, if ACW could possibly do something educational,
Mhm.
something. Yeah. I'm trying to keep working and my volunteer stuff separate.
Yeah,
But
doesn't work.
I don't think I can.
But you figure that one out, Lynn Marie. Do let us know
Yeah.
how to do that.
Have to take advantage of dual relations. Work to your advantage.
Yeah. Okay, and then I guess in the future, I'm just kind of reading what I had sent out. Yes, Michelle?
I just wanted to ask Lynn Marie, what does the ACW stand for?
What?
I can't hear you.
Community wellness.
What does
Team.
ACW stand for?
ACW, what does that stand?
Oh, ACW is the approaches to community well-being. It's a division in Sioux Lookout First Nations Health Authority. It is actually the public health part of the health authority.
Okay,
And that's where I work.
thank you. Wasn't sure.
Then I think towards the end of all of this, because you can be learning about it, and then as we go along, the last part of it would be healing and empowerment activities. What
Mhm.
what can we do? Like note in their mental health, and maybe they'll be interested in putting something on to look after your mental health, considering all these things that are happening, especially with the 215.
Yeah.
You know, with the findings they're having coming out of the residential school.
Perhaps I can make a suggestion that that perhaps maybe Mayor can talk with James Morris
Okay.
and see what kind of contributions all of SLIFNA can do, because SLIFNA is huge organization. And and like there's, I mean, like, yeah, it's an opportunity to collaborate with in fact all the Native organizations in town. Like I can see this getting like some collaboration point between, you know, Tikanaga and SLIFNA, the tribal councils, IFNA, KO, Wendigo, Shibogmo, Nan Legal. Yikes! Minnehawan.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
another blueberry festival.
Kind of like that, but I think we want to emphasize and try to educate people,
Yeah.
especially like here we all know a little bit more about the issue than most people, than the average Canadian. And so how are we going to do the outreach to send out this messaging and to send out the to create more understanding amongst everybody about what's happened and how important it is, especially to our area, because of like you say, SLIFNA, Noden, all work with health issues that come from a lot of this, you know, from the Indian residential school, the legacy. So, and they're dealing with all that. It all ties in somehow, but I think this will be like our first education week to go along with this holiday, and we'll see what we can do. I wouldn't say like 10 activities, you know, that would be a little bit too much, maybe one or two here and there, but we'll do our best for this beginning. Yes, Michelle?
Excuse me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
Can you hear me okay? Anyway, I just to back up a bit on when you talk about timelines and booklets, booklets regarding the Truth and Reconciliation 94 calls to action. I actually have this tiny little book. I don't know. And I think that if we can get, perhaps, I don't know if we can get them free, but if we can, I'll have Tiffany contact them because the contact information's on the back. And I love it because it's a small little reference right on my desk. And that would be good as a handout to community members. So we'll see what we can do to get more of them.
Each book costs just under $8.
Yeah.
And Indigenous, yeah, and then if you're an Aboriginal company, you get a certain percentage off. Because I was looking that up while we were speaking, because I thought that'd be a great idea to hand them out because it's perfect. It's a perfect size. I have one in at home here, and yeah, it's really nice. But they're more expensive than you would first think, you know, for such a small size.
Probably because it is so compact, because it's very well done. So
yeah, it is very well done.
Well,
we'll just make our own. We can make our own. We can print our own.
It's just I just like this because I never lose track of it, because it's compact and it's always on my desk.
I know, it's so nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe some organizations could contribute some funds. towards purchasing some.
Yeah, resource. They could put it under resource or something, yeah, in their budgets.
We'll follow up.
Can you share with me where the ordering happens, like the website or?
The National Truth, the
It's a National
National Center for Truth and Reconciliation
University of
in Winnipeg.
Manitoba.
in Winnipeg.
It's got a toll-free number, even an address, and it's www.nctr.ca.
nctr.ca.
nctr.ca.
Yeah, that's what you would look up. The National
Okay.
Center for Truth and Reconciliation.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other ideas? Okay, the other idea I had was collage, making up a collage, and what can I do? What can we do? And just have it out there in the community, and people can come and put something on that board, on that collage board. It could even be like a big double wall of something, maybe even at the Travel Information Center, we could put it under the tent and just build some kind of structure where people can just stick it on there, tape it on there, and just do a collage.
Maybe we could involve the schools as well for this, because I think this would be really good for them, especially like the high school.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe we could involve them in this as well.
okay, the schools. Yep. Or they can make their own collage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool.
Take
Oh.
pictures.
How about inviting like the schools to do collages? They could do either a big classroom one or maybe individual ones. And then whenever the kind of wind up to this is, they could bring them to the tent at the Tourist Information Center and display them there.
Okay. We could set out a bunch of tables and
Yeah.
they could put them on the tables, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or some display boards, upright display boards if there are some.
yeah. Wind, I don't know.
Yeah, wind and rain.
I was just thinking of just taping them flat onto the table. Okay, anyway, that would be an idea. What can I do? What can we do? And it'll just get people thinking of
Yeah.
what can they do today? Because a lot of times people are wondering what they can do. Can we donate? Can we, anyway, okay. Or the other thing we can do is have a, I guess they can come up with those themselves, the ideas, because if we were to do it, it would be watch First Nation films, listen to First Nation music, support arts and crafts. Those are ideas, different ideas. Okay. And then the Orange Shirt Day walk. I'm not sure what day to have that on. Usually we go every year on the 30th, September 30th. We've tried to keep it to September 30th. But this year, the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is actually a holiday, and it is an Orange Shirt Day, and it is a day of reflection. Myself, I'd rather have that day off. So I would rather have the walk on a Wednesday or something, the day before Orange Shirt Day. But I don't know.
The Thursday is an actual holiday, a day off work.
An actual holiday this year.
For federal employees only though, but so for example, municipal governments, private industry, don't have that it's not a legislative holiday where we have it off. Although I'm sure most Indigenous organizations are giving their employees the day off as well. But it's only right now, it's only a federal national holiday for federal employees only.
Okay, for federal employees. Okay.
So what are we looking at then for the beginning, and what's the start date and end date for that week? Are we going from, say, the Saturday the 25th through to Saturday the 1st of October? Is that, and maybe end with, are we including the Equiminis celebration in that week?
Is there? I haven't heard anything, so I don't know.
Who was
The decision was made at a previous committee meeting that we were going to wait until we did the Umberville Trail remaining and do that, or no, sorry,
no.
Sisters in Spirit. There's the thing that comes up, right? We were going to try and coordinate that with the appointments.
So Sisters in Spirit is the 4th of October.
Okay.
Which is a Monday. So that's when we're going to do, okay, so maybe the week goes from sort of like Saturday the 25th through to Monday the 4th.
That's a long week.
Well, it sounds like we've got lots of stuff going on. I was going to think that maybe the Saturday afternoon could be the blanket exercise.
Okay. Sunday, any ideas for Sunday? Prayer day or something?
Could have a prayer service or a gathering of some kind. Maybe like there was on the 1st, up at the top of that hill. Maybe there could be
like a sunrise.
Yeah, maybe a sunrise ceremony up there with some drumming and some prayers.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Okay. And then Monday we would do something.
Mm-hmm.
We would start the activities, I guess. Okay. Okay. And then if we go right up to the Monday, is it? Okay, 30th. I'm not sure what day is the.
Well, if you did the orange shirt on the Wednesday evening, and then kind of a holiday on the 30th.
Yeah, the 30th would be a day of reflection, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the 1st is on that Friday.
Maybe that could be either a music night or a film night.
Friday. Okay.
Do you have the rights to show that Gord Downey, the secret path?
We did that before.
Okay.
At the high school, we did. I'm not sure if we had the rights.
Oh.
How we did that. I can't remember how we did.
Well,
They sent us a copy on, what do you call that? On a USB. That's what we use. But I'm sure you could probably download it. But we wanted it on USB because we didn't want something to happen if the internet was going on and off kind of thing. Yeah.
I suspect, as long as it's free,
Yeah,
it's probably, I mean, you're not making any money on it, so
No.
I would imagine there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea to check.
You could probably donate to Downey Wenjack Fund
Mhm.
at the event because they are a charitable organization.
Mhm.
And I know one person in town, Harriet Visitor. She lives in town, and Chani was her uncle.
Mhm.
Her mom is Daisy
Mhm.
Wenjack, one of the Wenjack sisters.
Daisy Monroe, or used to be Monroe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that what her name was before? Okay.
Yeah, she was married to a Monroe. Lived in Pickle Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her mom.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Harriet works. She's a teacher, I think.
Mm.
Anyway, she would know a little bit more about that. Yeah, she might even be a guest speaker if we ask her. Because I think she goes to Toronto and does stuff with the Gordownies family. Whenever they have different events there, they go down there. So yeah, and they have the Chani Wenjack walk out of Kenora to Reddit. We did that walk once with them for 2 days. We went. So I'm not sure if they're holding that walk this year, but it was held in October, whenever he went missing that time in October, October 17th or 19th or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was the other question. I don't know if we should have something at Pelican. I guess we'd have to talk to the school, eh?
It would be talking to NNEC again, wouldn't it? Because they're the
Yeah.
ones who, they had that thing at Lac Seul, bringing the children home, or, yeah, they coordinated something with Lac Seul. Not
Yeah.
too sure who was involved, but there were.
I couldn't go that day. But I know Michelle was there, Michelle, the mayor, and they talked about how they were going to approach, the finding or the graves, looking at the grave sites, different grave sites, and they had the elders there and past residential school students who talked about some of the grave sites, possible grave sites. So. Yeah, I guess we'd have to ask NNEC and see if if Pelican's doing something at that time. I'm not sure.
Is
Yeah,
there,
because on that day, we were, ACW staff were asked to do the COVID screening. And that direction came from my director and the higher ups.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because Pelican is, that's the original site. Well, for me anyway. And yeah. Um, so I know they have the memorial and they have a teepee there. They have the big turtle there, and with the 7 teachings, I think. So I'm not sure if we could go out there. I don't even know if school's happening this year. I don't think so, eh? Yeah. Because they might still be doing school from home, so might be hard to do something there. And the only other film I was thinking about maybe would be Muffins for Granny, because that and that movie is about this area, and the people that attended the Pelican, uh, people like Ralph Johnson is in that film,
Yeah.
and there was another little dear lady, Alice.
Alice Little Deer.
And she's gone, but she's in that film.
Yeah,
And I guess Nadia Condiments is the film artist,
right.
and she talks about how her granny had told her that when people were eating the muffins, they would throw away the muffin wrapper, but they would grab them and and eat the crumbs off the wrappers. That's how that movie title came to be. Um, what else? Who else is in there? Oh, can't remember. But anyway, Ralph was one of the people in there, and they talk about their experiences for residential school. So a local artist, I guess a local film would be good to show too some night.
What about, remember that beautiful one that Rachel and
Oh yeah. Okay.
the story of, it was Rachel's grandmother?
The Wolf, Jane and the Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of asking Nadine and Rachel to come forward as local filmmakers and
Yeah.
show something. Yeah, yeah,
I know they've both been working on new stuff, but they
yeah,
might be willing to help organize a, you know.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Okay. All right. And what else? Invite local businesses to donate. We have one donator already for the walk. Um, Dorsey Broderick. She wants to donate food and snacks and water and juices for the Orange Shirt Day walk, because we usually have those at the travel information center, and then everybody goes out and does the walk. They either take a bottle with water with them, or they have a bottle when they come back. And then we tried to make soup and bannock, and we have Tim's coffee and tea, and we have fruits and yogurts, so people can have a snack after walking.
What time of day do you normally, I'm forgetting, what time of day do you normally do
The walk.
the walk?
Usually set up an agenda. We have a prayer by an elder, and then so it usually starts about 9:30, and then by 10 o'clock we start taking people up to the Frog Rapids. We hire the bus to come and
Walk back.
well, to take them to the bridge, and then we start the walk and come out about 10:30, and then we walk back. Some people walk fast, and but some of us walk slow. So
So the expectation is people take time off work, like it's a work day.
yeah, they usually come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
SLIFNA has let us participate in the past, so yeah, I've been able to go to the last couple.
And we usually have T-shirts for sale. We Equoic, we try to do T-shirt sales, and we usually charge $10 a shirt. Like we're not profiting off of it, so it just pays for basically the shirt, because we don't have a budget for any of this kind of stuff. But we put it under I don't know, marketing or something. But yeah, so I have a design for a T-shirt for us, and this one has to do with the theme for the year. I think would be something like remembering the children, and especially with what happened in Kamloops, and that all started. And my vision for the T-shirt or this year is Northern Lights, coming in, and then children, children either walking or joining hands, and then going, and then they would be going into the northern and becoming the Northern Lights, which is what the Northern Lights are. So that's how I see. I guess that's the design that I see, and I'm going to try to do it on the computer and then send it off, make the t-shirts. Yep. So because that's what the Northern Lights are, they're the spirits of the ancestors, and they're dancing in the sky. And so, yep. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that design yet, so don't tell anybody.
Copyrighting it.
Yeah.
So we would have like a lunch at the Tourist Information Center, so we could
Yeah.
get make soup and stuff. Yeah.
The first walk we had, the Chamber of Commerce came out and did a barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would do that again. Or, but somebody can ask around and see if somebody will do a barbecue. If you know anybody out there.
Mhm.
All right, what else? Okay, so that's the Friday, and then we still would have Saturday, Sunday, that Saturday and Sunday. I didn't really envision it being that long, so I thought maybe, you know, that week from Monday to Thursday would have covered it, but it seems like, yeah,
Well, if we're going to do the Equanimous celebration, well, it could be a break and then nothing until the Monday.
okay.
Yeah.
Monday's the 4th, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it could be like from say the Saturday or Sunday before to
Okay.
the Thursday, and then nothing on that weekend, but then the Equanimous and Sisters in Spirit on the Monday.
Okay. Equanimous, would that be like during the day somewhere?
Well, yeah, we need to talk about that. Like what we were going to say we would have, unless that was done, say, on the Sunday afternoon, so that more people could attend. I mean, it would need to, well, is the town beach going to be available for doing anything? Because that would be the ideal place.
Yeah, that I know there.
A canoe race out around the island and back to celebrate.
Canoe-a-thon? No, canoe.
Well, just a canoe pilgrimage around the lake.
Canoe something. Canoe-rama? I don't know. Pilgrimage, I'm not sure about that word.
No, that's not a good word, but a canoe journey or what would you talk? Oh, it's not a walk, but it's a paddle. A celebratory paddle around the island and back.
Yeah.
Who's organizing all this? Because it's a relatively short period of time to do a fair bit.
Yeah.
I wonder, would it be better if, you got a committee together than just to make all these details? Because it sounds like a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what restrictions are. I mean, are we gonna? Because we have to take care of COVID restrictions and stuff like that.
Last year when we had the Orange Shirt Day walk, that's what we were wondering too, if the COVID was going to be
Mhm.
if we were gonna get arrested or something for having more than so many people in a
Mhm.
public gathering. And it turned out to be about 100 people that showed up, but
Mhm.
we didn't get into any trouble. And
You're still out of jail. And ignore the indoors. If there's an indoor thing like the movie or whatever, might be,
then
We have to make
Got it.
sure.
yeah.
I think right now I'm not sure, for public events, it's like 100 or something outside.
Mhm.
So before the first couple of orange shirt days, there was like 50 people, 60 people. And then last year, I think there was 100 people. So it seemed like there were more last year and more people were willing to come out.
And you'll probably get lots more this year
Yeah.
with everything happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody wants to do something.
Mhm.
Okay.
A lot of organizing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of it, we're sort of hoping that if an organization wants to do something, they organize it themselves.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah. They could just contact us and Slifnet could say, okay, we'll do this on this day and this on this day. And we'll try to.
there still needs to be some coordinating so that, we'll let them kind of spread out a bit.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some advertising going out to say between this day and this day, this is going to be a week of education around the national
I would
policy, which is
something.
reconciliation?
Yes. Michelle?
Through you, Chair, my understanding from our last meeting is that the municipality's kind of contribution to this would be like to help with venues or facilities to facilitate some of this stuff. And also, once we knew who was doing what and when, that we would put together a little brochure or pamphlet and also advertise it on our social media channels so that it could be distributed throughout the community. So in order to do that in advance, you have to have some of these things lined up very quickly.
Lined up and confirmed. Yeah.
So maybe if we choose a date sort of by which we know when things are happening and get that to
Yeah.
the municipal office.
Okay. Get your event in by a certain time, I guess.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then each group would have to be responsible for making sure that the COVID safety stuff is in place.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Okay, so I guess Michelle, you're gonna you've got this all down with or somebody has this all down or all the ideas. We talked about that Mohawk Institute film. And then we went over kind of what I sent out with the TRC 94 recommendation booklet resource. And then the survivors speak live event of some kind, possible youth involvement with the arts contest or essay or poetry contest, and then the blanket exercise. Eileen,
I'll volunteer to look after contacting Victor and Terry Lynn,
yeah,
planning something for maybe that the Saturday before.
okay, Saturday before. Okay. And then maybe I'll contact Renee Southwind about the language stuff
Okay.
and any idea she might have for something. And I guess Quiet Shiwan also with language
Mhm.
would be good. Lynn, the community well-being program. Did you want to ask them to see?
It's called Approaches to Community Well-being,
Okay,
Public Health for SLIFNA.
okay. You were gonna ask your supervisor?
Yep,
Okay,
if we can do something.
Yeah.
Because like I'm with raising our children.
okay. And then we're looking at Nodin mental health activity, messages of hope, or what do you call that? Self-care type of activities, maybe to do with mental health.
See, that's why I suggested that there be some sort of communication between Mayor and James Morris, because then James Morris can delegate his staff, his directors, his directors, and because Nodin is a different department within SLIFNA.
Okay.
The hostels are different departments within, like SLIFNA is huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah. So a letter to James Morris would be good then. Okay. And then Candace had talked about involving the schools or contacting the high school and the schools.
Yeah, so we were going to contact them for collages, right?
Yeah, collage. What can we do? What can I do?
Okay. So I'll ask them, even if the school wants to host something as well. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll reach out to the schools and I can email back to the group.
Yeah. And then they can post their collages somewhere on the social media. Yeah. That'll be good. Yeah.
Are you gonna get to the bulletin to declare it National Truth and Reconciliation Week or something? That would have to be, you have to get that in fairly quickly because you want it to be the week before.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get it in on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Or it would be on the 22nd.
I wanted the proclamation to be done the week before. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd have to get it to the bulletin.
Okay. Yeah.
Week before that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. If you want it out on the 22nd, it would need to be into the bulletin, I think, by the 20th.
Yeah. Okay. Bulletin 20.
Oh,
The proclamation. Okay.
Or even earlier.
20th or earlier. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And okay, so that's Saturday. The blanket exercise on the 25th. Sunrise maybe on the Sunday 26th. Monday activities. That's all I have. Monday.
did we have a thought for a movie night and venue? Who remember some year we had movies on the back of the fresh market?
Yeah, that was the library who did those movies, I think. It was the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be a reasonably sort of safe, well, weather permitting, of course.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think the library can commit to anything like that now. It's we don't have a CEO and we're just working on trying to keep it service going in to hopefully open, but yeah.
Okay.
Unless we arrange it some other through somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else who knows the technology.
Yeah, they would need
I'm thinking of Nadine then.
sound and film.
Mm.
How
And,
about-
projector.
Yeah, I know Nadine knows that stuff. Shall I? How about if I contact Nadine
Oh, yeah, okay.
about whether she would be willing to find a night? I mean, there's various places where there is a screen, and I know. I mean, she's done movie nights in
Yeah.
the Legion, and there's a big screen there. So that might be a place where could be indoors if need be and spread out. But how about if I talk to Nadine,
Okay, sure.
or maybe either the Sunday night or the Monday evening, the 26th or 27th?
Sunday or the Monday night. Okay, sure. Aileen will talk to Nadine. Okay. Yeah, and they can screen the Jane and the Wolf.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's the Cheney film. There's Muffins for Granny and the Wolf
And Mohawk Institute.
and the Mohawk
film.
Institute. Yeah.
So there's 3 possible films right there.
Yeah.
Would have to, some of them would have to be on different nights, I guess. You're talking 3 film nights then. Okay, Nadine could probably work with Rachel Garrett.
Yeah.
They work closely together.
Yeah.
All right, and then after that, on October 4th, we were talking about Equeminus and the canoe paddle. And then Sisters in Spirit in the evening, eh? Yeah. It's usually the Friendship Center that organizes the Sisters in Spirit. Yeah.
On I think it's Wednesday at 1 or something. There's a meeting of the VAC committee,
Oh.
Victims Advocacy and Awareness Group, and they're usually keeping tabs on things like Sisters in Spirit, and well, they'll probably talk about the first one. Probably is Take Back the Night,
Mm-hmm.
and because all those groups tend to work together, even though one
Yeah.
of them takes the lead.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can find out who's doing what.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to be very busy.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's about it. The COVID restrictions. And then the invitation to organizations and tribal councils, local businesses to donate, and volunteers.
I'll be back in a sec. I just have to slip away
If
for
we
a
can
minute.
find people to come and help, that would be good too. But we're trying. Okay. Wow. I'll just wait for Aileen. Okay, so that sounds good to everybody? Yep. Can't hear you, Lynn.
Sorry, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I guess that's it then. I guess we'll just wait and see eventually what happens if people start responding, like Slifna, the schools and everybody's made aware of what's coming somehow over the next couple of weeks for sure. And then after that, we'll get a better picture of who's confirmed. So that'll be good. It's exciting. I guess we'll just go on now. We're at 6, so that would be 6A. And 6B, the update on the motions to council regarding the MTO population sign, airport signage, and wayfinding signage. Michelle?
Thank you, Darlene. To the committee, those motions, the report hasn't gone to council yet. It'll be going to our September regular council meeting. And then following that, if council approves any of those things, then it will have to go to our budget process because we don't have funds at the current time to facilitate this stuff, but it will go to council at the next meeting.
So Eileen, that was the update on the motions to council regarding the signage.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a report with all of our resolutions from the committee to council, and then they'll deliberate and say nay or whatever, and then from there, if they say yes, then I'll be putting budgetary money in the budget for 2022 to facilitate that.
Okay. All right. Number 7, delegations, presentations, committee presentations. There are none. Number 8, items for discussion. So the first one, 8A, change to cemetery bylaw to permit a fence around graves by Joyce Timpson. Okay, Joyce.
Yeah, I think this is a simple, it would be very simple to implement that into the cemetery policy. There was a request from a person who lives in the north now, but has lived in Sioux quite a long time, and had a relative pass away and wanted to bury the person here and wanted to put up a fence, as is customary in the north. And there is no provision in the bylaw for that. We were able to get crosses in the bylaw. The bylaw had initially said only granite markers or metal markers, and that they added to that crosses, provided they were made from preserved wood and so on. And I don't see any reason why we couldn't have fences in preserved wood in grave sites. So I would like to see that an amendment to the cemetery policy brought to council to permit that. Now, apparently Dryden has made some accommodations that we might, whoever takes this on could consult with Dryden and how they did it. And
I can comment at this point. Dryden does not have it in their bylaw for fencing. It is, and correct me if I'm.
Well, can't hear you very well. Sorry.
Dryden, can you hear me?
Yeah, better.
I have to talk really loud, I guess. Dryden does not have it in their current bylaw. What they have is the provision of, and I think it's a spirit house is what they call it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Darlene or Lynn Marie. But it's something like a spirit house that goes over top of the grave. It's not the fence per se, because the fencing, although maybe a good gesture, it's very problematic in the cemetery for mowing the lawns, because how do we keep it tidy when you have to take separate equipment to kind of whippersnip inside when the lawnmowers go across. So I know that that's a bit problematic, and prior to this meeting, I did reach out to our cemetery, to the clerk who is in charge of cemeteries, and he has indicated that a lot of other municipalities don't have it in their bylaws for that reason, but it doesn't preclude the PRC committee from bringing that forward to council if you so wish.
Yes, Mario?
I just wanted to say I agree with a lot of the stuff that Michelle has to say. The erection of anything within the cemeteries is immediately becomes the liability and possession of the municipality, and their care and their perpetual care account is I don't know if it's sufficient enough today to conduct the works that it's doing. The amount of maintenance that's going in. Council needs to support those cemeteries. If councillors want improvements made in the cemetery, then they have to back that up with money. And right now you've got one guy who's maintaining the entire cemetery, and he's doing an excellent job, but let's let him do an excellent job. The idea of bringing in wooden crosses, regardless if they're made out of preserved wood or not, becomes the property of the municipality. And they must upkeep those crosses. When they get old and when they start to falter or anything like that, they need to conduct improvements. If anyone falls on a cross or anything like that, the municipality assumes the responsibility of that. Putting up fences around different grave sites where the graves aren't even located in the correct location, it's going to create a whole bunch of problems. What happens if somebody puts up a steel gate that with the points? We do have that in our cemetery. Someone were to trip and fall on that, the municipality is going to be in a horrible state. It's great coming up with all these good ideas for the cemetery, but my last word is council needs to provide more money in cemeteries if they want to do those, if they want to make those improvements. And the cemeteries has always been on the back burners. Okay, that's all I got to say.
Can I say something? In many places that I've been where they had either the fences or the spirit tents, the cemeteries were really, well, they might have, been in the location of the church or something like that, but basically the community looked after them, and there were what they called cemetery days, when whole families went and looked after, tended to the grave sites. But I don't think we do that here. Well, I've seen people at the at grave sites tidying things up, and but certainly there's a lot more community care in the places where they do have the spirit tents and the fences.
All I want to say is that the idea of bringing or keeping in wooden crosses in cemeteries, I believe that's part of the issue of these grounds where, for instance, in Chinwalk, they all had wooden crosses at one time. The wooden crosses are all rotted and fallen away, and no one replaced them. And that's why no one knows who's there anymore. I think we're working backwards. I really do.
It's that balance of honoring traditions and being practical, which don't always seem to work well together.
Well, we are talking.
You have to support it with money, and you have to have a proper budget for cemeteries, and it's not there.
We are talking about allowing someone to bury their loved one in the way that they culturally like to do so. And I don't anticipate that there would be a lot of people wanting to put a fence up, but I think there will be. It can be done in a safe way. You don't have to have poked findles. It could be a small one. I can't see why it would be any more difficult to maintain it. You just do your clipper snipper around a fence, and we are talking about looking at our policies and how do we accommodate for reconciliation. That's where this comes from.
Will you be providing provisions if council were to approve this? Would they be introducing provisions in the perpetual care account for the municipality to maintain these fences, or is that something that the entire municipality has to bear?
Yes, Michelle?
I don't think it'd be any different than it is now, is that, you know, people look after the graves of their loved ones, and if the granite stone deteriorates, it deteriorates. It's going to, you know, it's bound to happen.
But that's the municipality's responsibility. It's not, when I put a headstone in the cemetery, it's not up to me to maintain that cemetery. I pay, there's an account, it's called perpetual care. And that goes, I pay for that, it goes to the municipality, and the municipality becomes responsible for the maintenance and the well-being of that headstone. And it's account that some treasurers have dipped into in the past. Our perpetual care isn't up to snuff.
So, sorry,
Then,
can I ask then, because I'm realizing I don't know, the perpetual care account is if I'm going to have a grave in Northway, say, then I pay an upfront amount to the municipality, and then that is for care of my grave forever. That's what I'm understanding. Yeah.
Michelle? Yes.
But we're regulated, I can't remember the act, but we're regulated, and what happens is that care and maintenance fund goes into a trust fund. And the only funds the municipality is able to use, you're not able to use that principal amount, you're only allowed to use the interest earned on that money. So it's not, so that fund always stays there and grows, but it's the interest off of it that we use. So some years, there's not much money in the fund for care and maintenance. So that's one thing we have to remember. Again, as Mario had indicated earlier, if any extra money is spent in the cemeteries, then that comes from the general taxation.
I have a question. Is there anything preventing this committee to make recommendations for additional contributions for, I don't know, upkeep? Can we do that to the municipality?
Michelle?
Reconciliation committee?
Can't hear.
Sorry, through you, Chair Darlene, are you talking about the actual Truth and Reconciliation Committee?
Yes.
We have no funds. We have $2,500 a year for the committee expenses, and that's it.
No, I mean, can we ask the municipality as a exercise, I don't know, as an exercise of goodwill, not specifically just for the TRC committee, but like, okay, what can we do to address the issue that Mario brought? Because I get it. I get it that it costs money to take care of the cemeteries. Can the TRC influence any kind of can influence the municipality to make to enhance that that fund that Mario was talking about?
Through you, Darlene. That fund is specific, it's legislated, so any monies, we wouldn't be putting monies into the fund because again, the only money that we could use is the interest off of that public, off of that trust. We can only use the interest on it. So to put, let's say we were to put $10,000 a year into it, we'd only be able to use the interest off of that 10,000, not the actual $10,000. So I think what you're trying to say, Lynn Marie, is that the committee of the subcommittee, sorry, the TRC committee wants to make a recommendation to council to allow such burials and at the same time, not to allow such burials, but to allow such fencing in the bylaw at the same time to put extra funds aside each year for the maintenance of those areas. I think that's what you're looking at versus putting money into the fund.
Something like that, something that increases the funds available for the upkeep. Because it would benefit everyone there, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So,
And there might be groups like, say, the Genealogy Society or some of the churches that maybe could do some fundraising to put not into the, well, maybe into the main fund, but also into the piece that can be used each year.
Part of that problem is there's no real commitment to those funds to be brought to the municipality. So let's say the municipality said, yes, we're going to allow them. Yes, it's going to cost us extra dollars for this equipment, that equipment, the extra manpower to actually take care of, the snipping inside of the fenced area and outside the fenced area to make it look as nice as it does now. There's no commitment from these groups. Yes, it's great that, perhaps they can contribute, but for how long? Because once the commitment's made, people start putting the fences up. That's a lifelong thing in the cemetery to keep up.
Yeah, I just don't see that there would be any, much more maintenance required. And I don't think that I don't think that there'd be going to be that many people that would do so, but there may be. And maybe that's something to deal with. If there are a lot of people wanted to do it, then we could address it at that point. I just at this point don't see that there would be that much extra uptake of doing it or upkeep. At any rate.
are you? Yes.
How do I say this? I've been around this before. The buck stops with council. If council, the cemeteries is a department of the municipality. If council wants cemeteries to look good, they can by allocating more money. And they have to raise taxes in order to do that. So every time you put something into the cemeteries, it increases maintenance costs. It's not, I think it won't, or it's going to. It's going to in the short term, and it's going to in the long term. It takes longer to cut around it. It takes, if you break, somebody leans against it or something, if the machine bangs into it and breaks it, someone has to go out there and fix it. So costs are going to increase. I don't care how you put it. If the municipality wants cemeteries to be better and allow more things to happen, it falls back on council. Council needs to allocate more money. The buck stops there. I apologize, but that's the way it is. It's been like that for years.
Just right back to the beginning, we'd have to look at what's Dryden, how they went about doing whatever they're doing over there. So I don't know any other solution.
Dryden has a full cemetery staff with a backhoe. They have 3 or 4 employees. They're more centralized. I think they only have 1 cemetery. They have a bigger department, bigger money, bigger.
Okay. So then, what would be the next step to this bylaw? Is it change to the bylaw?
Sounds like we need a bit more thought and discussion around this. Like it would be, from my perspective, it would be good to try to honor and respect people's traditions. But there are the practical considerations of cost.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some further thought and discussion around this.
Yeah. Okay. So Michelle, yes.
So if that's the committee's wish, as Evie had suggested, perhaps we'll put a placeholder to bring it back to the next meeting. We'll bring our cemetery bylaw and we'll take a look at other bylaws in other municipalities in Northwestern Ontario as well.
Okay. So we'll bring this back up again at the next meeting, say, after a little bit more research.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll bring this back up again. But thanks for all your comments on this topic. Okay, I guess we'll just go on now to 8B, restoring and touching up the old Slark signs at the entrance to town. Joyce Timpson.
Yeah. Terry Lynn Joel brought this to me. Terry Lynn was the chair of the Sioux Lookout Anti-Racism Committee for many, many years. And she raised that, you know, the sign as you're coming into town is it's getting pretty tired looking, and whether or not we could do some rehabilitation of it. You know, I think it's a very good sign. It really reflects what Sioux Lookout is about, and, you know, working together and so on. And it may just require a touch or another paint job, or it may need to be replicated. I don't know. But I just bring that to the committee, and possibly a recommendation to council or to the municipality to take a look at the sign and see whether it's practical to fix it at this point.
There's two, isn't there? There's one just before, on the left, before you come in under the underpass.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one on the Alcona Road, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's one. Yeah, I guess there is one on the Alcona Road. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so there's 2 of them.
So I'm just bringing this forth as something for the municipality, maybe staff could look into. Take a look at it. What would be involved in touching it up or replacing if we have to.
I wonder who did the original work on it.
There's a thought. We could ask Terry Lynn if she knows who created the place.
Or who made them, yeah.
I think it was the guy down Moosehorn Hall signs, or what it was. It was done in 1998 with the annexation of Sioux Lookout, when the boundaries were pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't understand what the signage has to do with truth and reconciliation. I understand where we want to put some writing on there, that's one thing, but if it's a sign, it should go to the Public Works Department or whoever is in charge of signs, and that's where the request should go to council with, in my opinion.
I don't even think it would need to go to council. It's just part of ongoing maintenance. As to what it to have to do with reconciliation, I think it's just, you know, a symbolic expression of who we are in this town, and we are a mixed race town, and our committee is one that's attempting to bridge some of the gaps and correct some of the hurts of the past. And I think it would be a very small thing to have to do, I would think. It may not be this year. We might look at it for next year, but it's something. It was Terry Lynn Jules. I brought it to my attention, and it's unfortunately she's away right now. Otherwise, might have been willing to come to talk to the committee.
Okay. Yeah, on the signs, there are 4 directions representing the 4 colors, the sacred colors, and then each 4 direction represents the 4 colors of people around the world. The red, the white, the yellow, and the black. Those represent those colors of people, I guess, around the world. And so I think that's why we're promoting diversity within this community. I think that's one of the reasons. Michelle, did you want to add something?
No, other than we, like as staff, we can take a look at it, but again, it would cost money, and I believe that those signs were probably originally done to grant monies that were put up. So we'll certainly take a look at it and see what needs to be done, and we'll report back to the committee.
Okay, report back. All right. Now we'll move on to the next item then. So we'll look at it again at another time. Okay, 8C, street naming. Aileen.
Yeah, I'm in Winnipeg at the moment, and there's an area, well, there's a Wolseley Avenue, and there's an area that's generally called Wolseley, and apparently folks there are having found out who Wolseley was and his role in Canadian history. He was involved in opposing the Louis Riel movement. And so there's a move to change the name of Wolseley Avenue to something else and the name of the area. So similar kind of discussion to Colonization Road in Dryden. And so I was wondering if anyone knew why Wellington, presumably after General Wellington, why Wellington might have been named that. I did ask Vera, because she is very knowledgeable on all things historical, but she couldn't tell me. So yeah, I was just fiddling around one day and looking at road names in Sioux, and mostly they're fairly okay, like first and second and third, and things like Pine and Forest and Evergreen. But Wellington stuck out as being named after a colonial person, so I just thought that, you know, if anyone knew anything about the history of why Wellington Avenue is named what it is.
I just know that every single city or town in Canada has a Wellington Street. I think it's just an English name that somebody, I don't know about General Wellington, who he was, but anyhow.
Well, maybe somewhere in the, I'll go to the Hunter tracks beside the water and see if there's anything about it.
Yeah. You know, when we start talking about changing street names, and, you know, we talk about being practical and watching budgets and so on, it is very expensive to change the name of a street, and a lot of work for people, and confusion by people who have the address there, and maybe Wellington Street's short, but I know Dundas Street in Toronto is being changed, and I think it's going to cost $5 million or something to change the name. You know, so.
Well, I lived in Wales in the 1968, 69, and that was the period in which the Welsh National Party was raising its banner. And while I was there, the all English names in the town that I lived in got painted out.
Mm.
And then Welsh names got added in. So did it. So they're both. It's like St. Boniface in Winnipeg. The names are in both English and French, and so these names in North Wales in Bangor, they started adding in the Welsh names, reclaiming their Welsh language, which had been outlawed from like 1295 or something by English invasion. So it can be done. Anyway, I will get some more information. That's all I have to say on that.
We'll just move on to number 9, the work plan. So on our work plan, we have 6 things on there: the Northway Cemetery memorialization event, developing the relationship with Anishinaabe Friendship Center, number 2, and then the review of municipal policies through a cultural lens, number 3, and then number 4, engagement.
Hello, did the sound go off?
I think you're on mute, Darlene, or we can't hear you.
Oh,
There you go. Now we can.
I didn't touch anything. So. Huh, that's weird. Okay, anyway, there are 6 items on our work plan. So anything on the work plan? Not much. Okay, we touched on some of it, but I don't see any updates or anything.
Well, you could put the exploration of the possibility for fenced grave sites. I think that's an update. That's basically a policy change.
Yeah.
Could add that.
Through you, Darlene, yeah, we'll add it to the work plan that it arose out of this meeting for the next meeting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
September 27th. So that's number 10, the next meeting date, September 27th at 5 p.m. Well, yes, Michelle.
As we move along through the events for the end of September, perhaps we can move the meeting up in September just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
So after this meeting, what Tiffany and I will do was kind of just send out a synopsis or like an action plan from the meeting today for the events for the last week of September to make sure that we're all in agreement of what was discussed today. And then what we'll do is we'll schedule perhaps another meeting earlier than September 27th so that we all, can discuss the final plans for that week. Does that sound like a plan?
So, did everybody hear that?
Oh,
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, so what I was thinking is since September 27th is the beginning of that, or in the middle of the week of activities that we're currently planning surrounding the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, I thought maybe after this meeting, Tiffany will summarize the minutes and an action plan as to who's doing what for that week as a follow-up. And then perhaps we can move our meeting up in advance, like maybe in the next couple of weeks instead of on the 27th, to make sure everything's in place for the last week.
Okay,
So we'll reach out to the committee.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so next meeting, as she said, and motion to adjourn. Mario and Lynn.
No, I have one question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
It has to do with Mayor Lawrence's renaming of Central Park, of Centennial Park,
Oh.
where he shared an email with us. And then at the bottom of the minutes, it says, the email was circulated to committee prior to the meeting for their review and comments. Did we do that for the mayor? Is the mayor looking for support? Is this issue over, or? That's my question.
yes, Michelle.
I don't think the issue is over. The mayor put it out there just as a thought with Truth and Reconciliation that perhaps it could be renamed, and that's something that we can put back on the agenda to discuss if the committee would like to discuss it.
Okay, maybe put it
Is
on.
he-
for the
Is he looking for individual comments or comments from the committee as a whole?
I think we're trying to get away from individual comments because then we're having a meeting outside of the meeting. So I think what's best is we put it on the agenda for our next meeting for discussion. And we can speak with that.
Okay,
All right. Okay, then, so I guess that's it. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I can
Okay,
second.
Lynn, Marie, and everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. I'll say twice.
good meeting. Interesting meeting.
Yeah, always, yeah. Okay, so we'll see you at the next meeting then. We'll get busy doing some of the other stuff that we need to do to get ready for Orchard Day week.
Mhm.